Yesterday, Trump signed a number of executive orders, but I want to talk about a couple of things that Trump didn't do on day one. And firstly, Trump did not pardon Ross Ulbricht on day one. So this says here that betting platforms Polymarket and Kalshi have seen odds soar after hints that President Donald Trump might pardon Ross Ulbricht, the notorious Silk Road founder, early in his second term. According to Polymarket, the odds have surged dramatically following a comment from Elon Musk on X stating unequivocally Ross will be freed too. This statement captured Ulbricht's pardon probability from a modest 54% to a staggering 95% within hours, with betting volumes on his clemency reaching over $51,000. So, despite him not saying that Ross will be freed on day one, we have a statement by Elon Musk, and here's the betting markets for Ross Ulbricht right there is at 95% right now. Now, like I've said before, until the rubber hits the road, I just don't believe anything that's going to happen, until the ink is on the paper, until Ross is actually out of prison, that anything will happen. So it's really just, wait and see. Let's be patient. Let's, take our time and allow things to play out as they are. Another thing that Trump didn't do, like I've already mentioned, is the Bitcoin Act of 2024. He has not signed the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill. Even though, here's the bill right here, there's been no action on this thing since, July of last year. So it's been over 6 months since anything has happened with this other than its submission. So, and there are no co-sponsors. It's just Cynthia Lummis right now. And again, I will repeat this over and over and over. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Even though things might look rosy, take off those classes and really just focus on what is actually happening, because that is where you can take actionable actions, where you can actually do something. So even though Kalshi also has the Bitcoin National Strategic Reserve up at 63% right now, like I said, the odds are good currently. People are betting that it will happen this year, but it's just a matter of when, and if. So you have to just stay calm, stay reserved, keep dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, and don't let any of these distractions distract you. So despite that, here's Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong predicting that Bitcoin will get into the millions, multiple millions price range. And in this little interview that he's doing on CNBC, he mentions that he's in Switzerland, I believe right there, and that, other countries aside from El Salvador are looking into creating a Bitcoin strategic reserve because the US is talking about it. We've already spoken about Brazil entering a bill into their parliament or Congress or whatever they've got, and Japan as well. The guy from Japan is actually named Nakamoto or Satoshi or something like that, totally unrelated to Satoshi Nakamoto, but he's got one of the names in his name, which is kind of interesting. But there are countries out there that are looking into developing and implementing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. I think that they will wait until the US signs something and then they will follow. And if that happens, then all bets are off. I think millions is possible for Bitcoin if that happens this year. But until that happens, until a strategic reserve is signed into law, I really don't think that you need to be putting all your eggs into that basket. So, like I said, just dollar cost average, put your excess spending money into Bitcoin. Don't put your rent money into it. Don't put your car payment into it. If you don't feel like going out on a Friday night, use that money, put it into Bitcoin. Use that as your savings, because it'll do a lot better than putting dollars into a savings account where you're getting 0.01% interest. Or even better than a money market where the current rates are around 4.5%, 5%. You could still do better than that in Bitcoin on a single day. So that's what I do. I've just been buying Bitcoin for a long time, and it's done well for me, and I'll never stop buying. I tried, or all of 2021 or 2022, I bought $1 of Bitcoin per hour using Strike. Strike has automatic features to allow you to purchase Bitcoin at certain time intervals, and I just made sure I had enough dollars in that account to where it could purchase one Bitcoin or $1 worth of Bitcoin per hour. That equates to about $720 a month. So if you do the math, however much, you could do, I think you can do less than $1 or something like that. I think you could do probably like 25, 50 cents or something. I tried to do that starting in November, but I had to move, and a lot of expenses came up all at once that I had to pay for, Christmas, that sort of thing. So I don't think I'll be able to do that this year. I'm also, trying to put my dollars in other places. I know I keep saying Bitcoin, but there are other investments out there. But I do think Bitcoin is the fastest horse in the race, and that's where I'll continue to put most of my money. But it's okay to spread yourself a little bit, but again, most of my investments are Bitcoin related because I invest into a lot of Bitcoin mining stocks, basically only Bitcoin mining stocks and MSTY and other dividend paying stocks, that are Bitcoin related. So even though I've, kind of dug a little bit deeper into the traditional financial fiat system, it's still Bitcoin related. It still has a price movement based on the underlying asset, which is ultimately Bitcoin. So even though, like I said, I'm in the traditional financial system, I don't think that, we'll ever go full cryptocurrency onto Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin will just be an asset that you'll have in an account somewhere where you can use that as a savings. But for a while, I think we're going to be on a dual system where you'll have the US dollar, you'll have the traditional financial system, but then you'll still have DeFi and CeFi and these cryptocurrency exchanges. I think those will all grow over time. But none of this is ever going to be overnight. So you just got to keep calm, stay, focused on what is working for you. If, throwing $100 at a meme coin and trying to make 10x in overnight or in a week or whatever works for you, cool, keep doing that. If it doesn't, maybe you need to switch your strategy. Don't just FOMO into stuff without doing any sort of research onto it, because just because a whole bunch of people are piling into a meme coin, you may have gotten in too late. Like the Melania coin or the Trump coin, if you had bought at the top, a few hours after they released it, you'd be down like 25, 50% right now. So that's just an example of the FOMO could actually cost you a lot of money. So, don't, in my opinion, just don't go into meme coins, don't go into other cryptocurrencies. I think Bitcoin is the safest thing. I'm not a financial advisor, but Bitcoin, in my opinion, is the safest asset that you can put your money into, and you just need to keep doing that. It's hard to stay disciplined and focused for a lot of people because your attention span is being destroyed basically by apps like TikTok and Instagram Reels, where every 5 seconds you just flip to something else, and your attention span is just pulled in many different directions, and you're unable to focus and really think through an asset like Bitcoin. So if you've done the research on Bitcoin, if you've read the Bitcoin standard, if you've read the fiat standard, if you keep watching videos like mine and others that are on YouTube that talk about Bitcoin, you'll probably have a greater emphasis in investing and putting your money into Bitcoin for the long term. There are very few get-rich-quick schemes out there that actually work. So you need to just take your time, stay calm, stay regulated, and just know that, this is a lot better, in my opinion, than putting your money in a 401k. Unfortunately, the new company that I work with has required me to open up a 401k. They kind of did it for me. And I only put like the minimum amount that I was required to into that thing. So I do have one, but I don't put anything any more than, what is required of me into that, because over the past 7 or 8 years since I've been into Bitcoin, that's been the number one thing that has made me a lot of money, is just dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. So I can only emphasize and reiterate that Bitcoin, in my opinion, is the best place to put your money for now, for the future, for decades down the road. That's what I'll continue to do, and I hope you'll continue to, do your research and look into that as well. So I appreciate y'all watching this.